Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Marriage is Tougher Than Woodpecker Lips podcast. This is Bryan, joined by my co host, Paul. We'd like to welcome you to a community meant for the men of the world to share their thoughts and perspectives on marriage. We can learn from each other's experiences and help each other be better husbands. This week on the pod, we want to ask you, why are you staying married?
And before we broach this topic, we just like to welcome you guys in. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been rocking with us for a while, we appreciate you. If you'd like to go deeper, if you have any questions or would like to connect with us, you can search Marriage is Tougher on any social media platform, or you can go to marriageistougher.com, hit the contact form, leave us your information, and whatever you'd like to talk about. You can do the same if you'd like to be a guest. Just let us know on that contact form if you would like to be a guest, what topic you'd like to talk about. We'll reach back out to get you on. Again, we really appreciate you guys checking in with us and having this conversation. So let's spend no more time and dive right in.
Right. So I feel like with the way that came out, I have to preface this conversation with, we are not encouraging people to divorce, right? We are trying to get down to the bottom of the constant fight for marriage, right? This is the situation for a lot of couples. We have to put in the hard work to stay married. We have to work on improvement. We have to be accepting of our partner's flaws, and even when those flaws can be changed, they likely don't change in an instant. So the time and grace that it takes to be there, be supportive, help work through, or even be hands off when the situation requires. Why do you keep choosing to stay married? Not in the negative sense, in the positive sense. We want to have a conversation around how we make those choices, why we make those choices, and what can come of it.
That was a great setup.
I felt like it was needed.
Yeah, I think it's always good to review your life choices. And that seems dramatic, but I think when you can just get caught up in the current of life, and all of a sudden you're just willy-nilly and you're like, how did I get here?
Right.
So I think it's always good to reflect and review. And this could be because it's review time for me at work, end of the year stuff, wrapping up, like, oh, okay, let's do a little review. Like, why do I keep choosing to stay here, stay married? Like, and the beauty, and I think it's to remind us that marriage is a choice. It's a choice that you made once, but it's a choice that you keep making. And knowing that you can't control another human, but you've decided to partner with them in life. And sometimes it looks rosy and rainbows and butterflies, and other times it looks muddy, grimy, gritty. But you still choose every day. So I thank you, Bryan, for that kind of overall direction of what we're going to do here today. And I think the first thing that comes to mind is because I'm a man of my word.
That part.
And so there's so many things that you don't know when you get married, right? You in essence marry the thought of the person that you're going to be together with, right? You marry what you know of that person up to that point.
Yeah.
And you're hoping that it's similar or better as you go. No, most of us don't think, oh, it's going to get worse, right? Whatever that worse looks like. So we marry an idea, and we marry someone up to the point that we know them. And then from then on out, it's the two of you partnering together, moving forward. And it comes with challenges, it comes with work. You know, all marriages work. It's just depending on how hard that work is, right? So, yeah, I made a choice to marry this person, and I'm a man of my word. That's kind of the foundation of it. Um, and my prayer and hope is that as people decide to get married, that they do the the research, right? The proper research before you get married. You know, that's what's their family dynamic, what are their shortcomings, what are they open to feedback, are they open to grow, um, have they dove into the hard things that they need to grow in, do they like people, do they like me, right? Or do they like the idea of marriage and I just happen to fit an acceptable person, right? It's hard questions that I'm praying that everyone asks. Not everyone asks them, but if you find a good marriage coach, they can kind of guide you through a pre-marriage program. They can guide you through some of those questions. But I think starting there is, yeah, just a man of my word.
Yeah, I love that you said that because that's always top of mind for me. Um, I'm a man of my word. And on my wedding day, in front of God, in front of my friends and family, I vowed that I, through all things hard and easy, would stay married.
Ooh,
Right.
that
So
part. Hmm.
I often think about that commitment that all people who in front of witnesses make, the weight that that carries throughout your marriage, right? Because I'm a man of my word. I also hate to disappoint people. I hate to disappoint myself and for sure hate to disappoint God. And therefore, I carry that weight with me all the time.
Yeah, I think as husbands, there's a level of weight that you don't realize you're carrying, but it is one of those undercurrent things that you always have. Right? Let's see, I'm trying to think of, so you know how if you're carrying like a book bag of something for a while and it's heavy, when you initially put it on, you're like, oh, that's heavy. But as you're going through, oh, if you're like carrying a family bag at like an amusement park or something like that, right? Or you're shopping or whatever, and you're just holding something. First, it's like, oh man, it's heavy. Then you forget that you have it. But then there are certain points in the day that you're like, oh, this is heavy. Like, why do we have all these things? Like, what is going on? Um, so there's different times that we feel the weight, but it's always there. It's just how are we coping and how are we adjusting our lives to that weight?
That's a good point. Um, you got me thinking about the same doesn't apply when you're carrying your kids. They're just heavy and they get heavier. So you like, I gotta put you down.
That's a fair point. Absolutely.
Back on point. What is number two for you?
Number two is for me is I know that this is my wife and that we were called to do some amazing things together. Um, and for me, that it kind of it kind of might be my number one now that I'm thinking about it because short story is in time of prayer before we got married. That's the first and maybe only one of two I know for sure. Well, two or three times, but the first time I ever heard and felt the audible voice of God. So for me, that's easy. I know that's not everybody's story. Um, but I know that this is my wife. So in challenging times, and I'm like, man, like this is tough. I'm really being challenged, or I did something stupid, or whatever. I'm just like, okay, like I heard what he said. Like this is my wife, so we're gonna get through this. Um, so I think that's either one, and the other one's one A or whatever. But I think being of a man of the word, being a man of my word is definitely important. And I think knowing that allowed me to say when I heard what I heard that, okay, I can step into this and really be the man of my word that I want to be.
Love that. I am thinking a 2, maybe 3 for me is the other side of tough. That reminder that on the other side of doing hard things have come the best things in my life. And so if I just keep choosing to pursue the other side of tough, no matter how hard it seems on the front end, building that relationship over time, building that cadence over time, building that wherewithal over time with my partner puts me on the other side of tough and puts me in a very, very happy place. Right. So when I approach tough things, I'm able to make that hard decision to walk into it. Right. Was it you that was telling me last week about the story of the buffalo? Um, no, I forget and where I hear that now, but so when buffalo are facing a storm, rather than doing what an average person would do, trying to get away from it, they go into it because if it's moving towards them, they spend less time in the tough. If they walk away
Ooh,
from it, it travels with them.
that's wild.
It is. And just think about how many times we've had to make that type of decision to just take on the tough. This is we know the path to the other side is through the tough,
Hmm.
right? Now, you could technically get through it the long way by moving with it, right? Allowing these things to happen, not speaking your mind when something's bothering you, right? All those things that we do as humans that hinder our progress at some point could technically guide you through and end up on the other side of tough. But if you just turn into it and ask hard questions, hey, why did this happen? How do we prevent it from happening again? What do we need in this moment in order to connect with each other and get through this hard thing? If you are willing to tackle the tough, you get over it, you get through it a lot faster.
Yeah,
So the other
that
side of tough for me.
that was funny. Before I was reminded that I heard the voice of God on Crystal being my wife, my answer was going to be, I can do hard things.
Mm,
Like that was what I was going to say. So I'm glad that you said that, because we all have to make the choice to continue to move forward. And if you recall your life, exactly what you said, there's a there's such a jewel or joy when you get through the hard thing, right? It's almost like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? Like you you get to, there's something new that is you're exposed to, or something new that builds up in you when you go through the hard things. And this is not to scare anybody off and say marriage is blah blah blah, but the truth is that deciding to live with one person for the rest of your life has some weight. It is hard. There are challenges. So not trying to sugarcoat that. Um, but again, it's making that choice and being able to do hard things, go through hard seasons, go through um, new spaces and new places, see different sides of people that you've never seen, you growing yourself and realizing you've changed, and having that self-awareness. So there's a lot of things that make it work and make it could be challenges, but remembering that I can do hard things and have done and continue to do actually gives a little bit of peace in the thought of marriage forever.
Yeah. Man, I am mindful in this moment that for some wives listening, this may sound very calculated or impersonal. So I'm thinking, like, what might my wife want to hear from me when I say, why am I staying married? Right. And the obvious answer is love. But where my heart is going is as Jesus loves me, right? And
Hmm.
so what does that carry with it? It's not just because I have unconditional love. It is Jesus is an example for how I'm supposed to love my wife. And that is through all the hard things. That is even though I've messed up. That is even when I'm not reciprocating the love for a period of time when I should be. All that love.
Yeah, that's a big reminder, because I was just thinking of like, when am I not at my best? When am I not participating in the things that I should with that relationship? When you bring Jesus up, there's so many times that it's um, not as it should, right? It's not taking the priority, it's not taking the time, and Jesus still has that unconditional love for us. And I just want to say it's not abusive,
Mm,
right? It's not weaponizing anything, right? Like, there's that perfect love of like, I'm going to take all of you and your flaws. Um, but I'm not saying stay married if you're being abused.
right, right, right.
Right. Um, just for that sake, but understanding what, like you said, what does my wife need to hear when I say that is, I want to lead with love, but what I have to do is love myself first.
Mm,
Right. Um, because when I am in a good place, then I can love everyone else. Like, when I confidently know who I am, and I don't have any um insecurities, or I've learned how to cope with my insecurities and not project them onto someone else. I'm self-aware enough to know they're there. Then I can love my wife or anyone around me with the fullest heart that I have, because I know they're not out to get me. I know they're not coming for me, and I know that it's all worth it. Even if it's not reciprocated, I've chosen to love this person. And that is a reason to stay married, because I'm reflecting love. And in general terms, most of the time, if you give off that type of love, it will be reciprocated. So as a leader of my in my home, like, I have to lead with love. And that's why I stay married.
is there um, how about for the kids? This is I would say, a dangerous one because I think there are many unhealthy marriages that exist for the benefit of the kids, right? Um, but I think that's part of the formula, right? It's part of the accountability of being a man of your word. Um, but I don't think that exists in a vacuum, right? I am mindful that I want to be an example for my community, an example for my kids. I want them to be able to have, uh, a firm example for what a relationship should look like, and I choose to try to demonstrate that as best as I can, as often as I can. Again, that's another tough thing, right? How do we demonstrate that even though we have disagreements or arguments or, some sort of conflict, that we can love before, during, and after, right? And that's something we are stepping on the neck of in therapy right now, even when we have disagreements, different perspectives on things, that we can set that aside for a time and still choose to love each other, you know, not forget about what the disagreement is, come back to it and, set parameters around resolution. But just because we're in disagreement about something doesn't mean we love each other any less. And I think I am very mindful about the importance of friendship within a marriage, because I think that is typically the area where that is best demonstrated in my life, right? So, for example, you and me, we could disagree just about, almost just about anything or on anything. Um, I'm not going to love you any less.
Hmm.
I'm still going to call you the next week. We're still going to chat, right? Um, and I think for a time, my marriage was missing that. So I've been chasing that for a little while. And I felt like that is something that is owed to the relationship.
Absolutely. I think it's remembering that your feelings and love are not the same,
Mm,
right? Love is a choice, and love is the action of sacrifice.
mhm,
So whether we feel like we agree or whether we're um, in argument or disagreement, the way we treat each other should not change, right? Perfect world, I'm saying, but I'm challenging everyone that's listening. Like, it should not change just because we disagree. Now, if we're attacking things from a healthy standpoint, it's easier to for that to happen. But if we have some unhealed areas, it can be challenging to not let a disagreement affect how you treat other people in generally, much less your spouse. But if we remember, love and our emotions are different. Love should steer how we um, how we treat people in spite of our emotions.
mhm.
Does that make sense? Because even if just like you said, even if I disagree with you, even if you know we're at different ends, I still see you as a person. And because I see you as a person, you should get the respect and you should be treated the same, whether it's high or low lows. And I think we throw love around as an emotion, and I think it's misplaced.
For sure.
Um, and I think some of that has to do with the way our English over like makes love in a bucket, um, when love is really different things. So I think if we lead with treating people with dignity, no matter what is going on, it helps us not skew that love is not there, or that they don't love me because they don't treat me a certain way, because love is love is not predicated on that. It's funny because my daughter, she'll ask for something, and then she's like, "Oh, you don't love me if but she's playing around. But I'm like, "Oh, so is my love predicated on this Subway sandwich that you want?" And then she'll be like, "Yes." I was like, "I guess just don't love you like I used to." Like, but it's something that's silly, right? Like,
Right,
it's, if you don't
right,
get your way, like, I don't love you. Like, that's ridiculous. But
right.
that is like, I should treat you the same way. I should treat myself the same way, whether we agree or not, whether my feelings are hurt or not. Um, because love isn't what that is. Love is me choosing to still be here. And love is allowing me to see her as, made in the image of God, and that I need to respect that and love on her in that space. So I just wanted to put that out there. I hope that makes sense.
That made all the sense, bro. I love that. Absolutely. I love having these conversations, man, because it makes me very reflective of, just current, past, and future situations. I'm thinking right now about how we can often not be very kind to ourselves, not be very loving towards ourselves,
That's right.
you know? And like it's a hard space to be in if you are condemning yourself for any shortcomings. It's incredibly difficult to love someone else. And I think you alluded to it earlier, right? Like to love someone else if you're not currently loving yourself. So being mindful of that, I felt I just needed to bring up because it was on my mind.
Yeah, there's a difference between, I guess the word is condemnation, like feeling condemned or condemning yourself, versus being convicted, right?
Mm,
Convicted is like, oh, this is the thing. It's not desirable, but it's like an exposure. And now, how do I move forward? Like, conviction is like to build up, condemnation is to tear down.
right.
So it's really the perspective is how you look at it. Oh, I have to build. Oh, this thing happened. How do I build from this bottom? Right? Condemnation will be like, oh, I'm at the bottom. Like, either I'm staying here, or I'm digging myself a deeper hole because I'm terrible.
Yeah.
No, you're not
Dangerously,
terrible.
I'm not worthy.
Right. Or this is what I should get because this thing happened. So I'm going to take this terrible thing and just wallow in it because this is my form of punishment. And myself, I had to really dig out of that, because I would do something, I would offend my wife, and I would wait for her to address it, and almost to the point of not discussing, where discussion is where the life is after you make a mistake, right? But I would set up how it's going to go down, and think the worst thing possible was going to happen, because I believe that's what I deserved, right? But there's never been a place where she's talked down to me, disrespected me, stayed so long in a place. Um, the only reason that she would continue to talk about it is because I would just blankly stare at her, and she's like, I just keep talking because I don't feel like you're hearing me. Like, do I need to say it a different way? But then when I grabbed it, I was like, oh, like, I just have to say that I understand and actually have a conversation, and then we can move forward. Um, but in my mind, it was like I needed to, either get a lecture or be scolded or be punished or something because I was condemning myself.
Mm,
But it was more like I had to take that feeling that I had, oh, I did something wrong or I didn't do something that we agreed on. That's just exposure. So I need to take the exposure and move forward, be convicted by it. But how do I turn that into a positive instead of wallowing and making my wife the big bad wolf in my brain when that wasn't the case at all?
right. Wow. It's funny how we can convince ourselves of things like that and then come to the realization that, she's actually just a co-hunter.
Right. Man, that's good. That's actually really good. It's so simple, but we don't always gravitate to the simple things
Mm,
because it can't be that easy. It can't be that simple.
that part.
It
That
can't be
part.
that simple.
We we take in too much from our surroundings and media that make us believe that the ideas cannot be that simple. It's never that simple. I don't deserve that simple,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah,
let me
that
work
can't be that
harder.
for me. That can't be for
Right,
me.
right. That looks nice for them,
Right.
but that's not possible. Can't be possible. Um, and then I think it goes to if we're talking about the positive side of things, right? I think it begs the conversation, the work that has been put in throughout a long marriage to make it seem that simple.
Mm. Yeah, the exposed part looks it's basically like an iceberg, right?
Right.
The tip is that, man, they really got this going on. It looks so simple. They communicate well, blah blah blah, but not seeing the giant stack of work underneath the surface that was put
All the
in
wrinkles, bro.
to
All the
be
wrinkles.
to be exposed, right? So yeah, that's that's really good. I was thinking reasons, right? Why I stay married, and something popped in as I believe in my marriage.
Mm,
Your belief system has a big play into it. Now, obviously, there are extending circumstances that's just not going to work. If you're in a toxic, abusive relation, that's not it. But there's belief in my marriage and belief that I made the right choice and belief in God and being in my marriage and belief in my spouse that even if it doesn't feel like it's going right now, it's going to turn around. Right. And knowing that marriage is for the long haul allows that belief to really have roots. Because, right, thinking of a tree does not grow to its full height in a short amount of time, decades and decades. But you grow down with the roots and you grow up where people can see. So I have to believe that the foundation that we started our marriage on is the foundation that it still is, even if it doesn't appear that way based on circumstances.
right. Right.
But when you're in it for the long haul, you see just like just like investing, right? Like the lines are going crazy, but the steady line showing your growth is always there
Yeah.
with time. So
Zoomed in or zoomed out, man.
that's it.
I feel it. I think that foundation topic is a good one to have. Maybe we set that up for next week. What's your marriage built on?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, otherwise we're in a tangent and it's going to be a
Yeah.
big deal. But so tune in next episode. We'll talk about the foundation, but we appreciate you guys um, staying in with this conversation. um, and kind of how it veered to a different way or another section. But it's very important to know why you stay married. So we appreciate you coming with this conversation. If it impacted you in any way, feel free to share it. If you want to go deeper, have another conversation, more conversation, hit us up. Searching Marriage is Tougher on any social media platform. We'd love to connect with you there. Or go to marriageistougher.com, hit the contact form, leave what your comment is, what you'd like to talk about. If you'd like to be a guest, hit that form as well. We really appreciate you having this conversation with us. And until next time, we'll chat later.
Peace.